What's up, traders? Cleveland here. Aussie's gone. It's already pushed. Held that 61.8, 70 pips today. Biggest Monday this year. And the euro, 120 pips in 2 days. Friday, 0850s, already at the 0970s. So, basically that's it. Profit's always my motive. If you need me, let me know. Relax, guys. I'm joking. Just been looking for a reason to use my in-office fog machine here. And I think I found it. So, it's going to get a little foggy in here, so bear with me. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. I am middle of the month, all right, May 15th. Okay, so we have about 2 solid weeks left of some price action, of some trading opportunity. And let's see if we can catch some moves. So last week we predicted a couple of things, right? Let's go over that a little bit. Last week we actually predicted a sell-off that worked out pretty well in that euro. And we also predicted a bounce on the Aussie USD. And we got it on Friday, right? So the past 2 days of price action, 2 business days, right? Monday and Friday, have been pretty serious, at least on the pairs that we look at, we monitor here, okay? So the euro, we sat right under this 23.6. I'm going to pull up some charts so you guys can see. Sat right under 23.6, and then boom, popped right up into structure, okay? And where do we end up? Okay, at the previous high of that range before we had that breakout, all right? That Macron victory breakout situation, all right? So that's very interesting. Aussie, on the other hand, Aussie came down to that 30 to the mid 73s that I mentioned and sat there for a little bit, but then we had a serious rush down to some lows. So we came all the way down a little bit under the 73 mid, 73.50, 73.40s, and but we sprung right back up. So if you notice the weekly, it's really just a pin bar there, right? I mean, the price action sat right there on that 61.8, and we immediately ran another 80, 90 pips all the way back up into the 74.50s. So we came from the 73.50s, popped all the way up, 100 pip move up to the 74.50s. So again, that was the play. That was the play. And all this happened during an overnight session, right? So, this didn't give me, I didn't get an allotted chance to really do what I wanted to do in terms of have some kind of price action, have some kind of 4-hour closes. As soon as that Aussie session ripped, maybe a little bit later on, the thing really just ran away. And, that's what we're sitting with now. But we definitely still have some opportunity. If you're looking to hold this Aussie and buy this thing up based off of it holding that 73.50 level, it depends on where you want to take it to, right? Because those are weekly levels. And at the end of the day, if you think that this thing can play back up into the range and maybe head back up into the low 75s, then you definitely still have some opportunity there. Now for this euro might be gone. I mean, unless you're going to play this breakout, you're going to have to wait for a retracement, maybe potentially back down into the 0950s, mid 09s. Maybe we get some rest back on the structure. But again, last week we mentioned euro could race, essentially to the $10s, $11s. And I think we're going to head there. I really do. And as I mentioned on pound, okay, notice this, guys. Anytime you don't like the price action, that's a good sign that you shouldn't be taking the trade, right? So don't like the price action, never like the price action on the pound. And we've done exactly what I was afraid that we were going to do for the past 2 weeks, which was just sit in that structural area there. Okay, so did push some trades out on the Euro USD, caught that short opportunity. I'm going to run back the short that I mentioned on the Euro USD. Check that little snippet out there. What I mentioned to the team was basically that, hey guys, we definitely could see this thing push over a bit. You got to ask yourself, folks, if everything's 50-50, okay, what extra variables, what is happening in the market right now that could give us, a bias in terms of, hey, we have there's a higher propensity to push to the upside versus a higher propensity to push to the sell side. And everything was kind of pointing to the sell side, all right? So things up from this low to the high, you guys will see we're sitting right here at the 23.6. Okay, and so again, if the momentum in this market is going to stay as strong as it is, then we're going to just keep racing. We're going to hang out in this range, go no lower than this 38.2, and then we're just going to kind of keep pushing higher. Okay, so again, that's it. Okay, so notice, guys, we fell right back down to the low there. Was I anticipating a break of that low? I really wasn't. I mean, so once the week kind of was panning out and I saw kind of fast things were moving, I didn't really want to get too involved in terms of taking this trade below the 0850s level, because again, when you have a breakout, you have to think about it. Market broke out of the high, the 09, you can say the 09 flats, 09 teens, and then it raced, all right, all the way up into the $10s, $10.30s, okay? So for us to want to take that trade in terms of a sell position all the way back down, all the way past the 0850s, potentially filling the gap and all that, that's a little bit much for what the market's demanding at the moment, right? So think of it in this way. If you already have market participation in the $10s, in the high $9s, in the mid $9s, by the time you get to the 0850s, a lot of those market participants may be looking to take profit. Okay, so as a breakout trader, you really have to do some pretty steady analysis in terms of understanding the market conditions, right? And knowing how market behavior is going to affect your trades, all right? If you're exposed, affect how those pan out, all right? So for me, if I get a breakout, if this trade would have stayed in that range, all right, let me give you the other scenario, because that was the one scenario. We got the breakout, market broke out and came right back down on the structure because we came from that breakout. It was hard for this market to break that low at 0850. The other scenario is we actually would have, let's say we stayed in that range. Okay, and let's say let's say the market ended up having some kind of selling sentiment in terms of people wanted to take this market to the sell side. Well, if we would have stayed in that range, we would have potentially been able to get outside of those 0850s. But instead, we started that selling ideal all the way up in the $10. So by the time it came to the 0850s, we already lost a lot of the momentum. Get what I'm saying? All right, so that's something I would have wanted to look for there. Okay, it would have been a better sell in the 0850s. Taking it below that level there. I know a lot of people potentially got induced into a breakout. I know a lot of people really want to fill that gap. Remember, folks, don't worry about so much of a gap fill. Understand the underlying sentiment of things, and then that'll kind of give you a gauge and an idea as to where these things can really go. Because the fundamental analysis cares nothing about your technicals. All right, it doesn't care anything about it. If this euro wants to rocket away, all the technicals in the world aren't going to be able to save you in terms of picking proper take profits and stop losses by combining your fibs and moving averages and such. Okay, I'm looking, it's a little less foggy. That's good. All right, so adding up for this week. Again, euro, we may have rocketed away. We'll pull over into the charts and check it out. Aussie's actually pulled back already 40 points. Okay, so we're back down in the 74 teens. Made that high at 74.5 flat. So maybe we can catch a little bit of a decent price down there in the 74s, maybe high 73s before we get a push back up. Okay. And for the pound, not really playing with the pound too much. All right. And there's a lot going on. There really is a lot going on in terms of other currency pairs. And I'm going to get involved. I've been saying it. I'm going to get involved. I'll throw out a third pair for us to check out this week. I'm going to like it. Hopefully I'm going to like it. But if I don't like anything, I'm just going to give you my objective opinion and my subjective opinion, right? At the end of the day, I can be as objective as I want, but you may have a different idea as what I think. So I'm going to give you my opinion of where I think maybe a particular pair can roll, and then we'll take it like that, all right? So guys, stick around, and let's go into the charts. Nice. All right, guys, let's pull over into these charts. I'm going to be going over the euro, the Aussie, and I'm liking this euro GBP. Okay, so we're going to start off with this euro USD real quick. All right, so first things first, kind of want to go over last week's price action a bit. I know I was blatantly just stating some price action to you guys, but maybe I want to show you guys exactly what I was looking at. I know I threw up some screenshots, but let's go through the play-by-play. So right here was that consolidation that we had last week. And guys, if you notice, again, it was the most consolidated the euro has been in the past 5 or 6 weeks, amazingly, right? And it wasn't very consolidated. I mean, it was extremely consolidated in terms of the range, but again, I'm just very surprised as to how small of a consolidation that was, outside of a range that was, and again, how diverse the market has been in terms of price points and price behaviors in the past couple of weeks. So here's that range here, and then we ended up getting our breakout there. Boom. So we came and sat right back down on structure, and that's what I was mentioning to you guys. If we would have stayed consolidated in this area here and some kind of selling sentiment came to fruition, we could have potentially have broken this level, and then there could have potentially have been a lot of illiquidity on the buy side in this range here. So we could have sat all the way back down onto the $1.70, the $7s, the mid $7s, all right, which would have been nice. But instead, we broke a high, and then some kind of selling sentiment came in, and we pushed down to the sell side here, okay, and we sat right here at the 08 mids. So Currently, I didn't mention too many things about the fundamentals. We do have some pretty heavy Aussie news coming out on Wednesday, and we had last week's political BS, whatever you want to call it, with the Comey situation, right? With the FBI director being fired by Donald Trump based off of the Russia collusion stuff, blah, blah, blah. I don't really look too deep into that kind of fundamental news, but you just can read the headline and kind of assume that, okay, U.S. politically right now, there's still a tidbit of uncertainty, okay? And amazingly, the market is still getting affected by that political uncertainty. It is to a smaller degree than what you would have seen months and months back. I mean, you got to think about it. There was in terms of political uncertainty, you have to say the Trump election was some kind of political uncertainty. Maybe people were certain in the strengthening of the dollar, but they were uncertain in the ideas of how that was going to go about, which is why you saw all of that money come back into the market, okay, in terms of the U.S. dollar being bought up and then people getting out of that asset. All right, so again, you don't see moves like that, and obviously there aren't any fundamental implications that are that large, but the fundamental implications now that are going on, again, we're not seeing too much. And so, again, we came down, we popped onto this level, and what I had drawn up, and I talked to a couple of my members about this, was basically this 23.6% fib here. So we saw the market kind of slowing down and pinging around down here in these lows, and I said, hey guys, you want to check this out? We might end up having some price action, some bullish price action once we break out of this level here, and then this market seriously just raced away from that price point. And flew all the way up into the original high of that range there, right? And so obviously we're sitting back where we kind of left off, and so boom, popped all the way back up into the high of the range. Very nice play, very nice in terms of the spread. 23.6 at a zero level. This thing came all the way up into the 61.8, which was the high of the range. So you're looking at a very solid, very probable, 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio, okay? And potentially if you could have held that and assumed that it will potentially be breaking the high, then you're kind of still sitting in there. I know I have a couple of guys still sitting in that EU. Actually, I'll post a screenshot of the guy that said he was sitting in the EU today. Other than that, folks, we're really just kind of now waiting. If you're not in this move yet, then we're just going to have to put ourselves, on the back burner in terms of any kind of exposure. If you want to get in on this euro buy, again, ask yourself, can I buy the euro right now? Guys, opportunities come and go, all right? You missed the 30-minute flag. There was a flag break. So a lot of the guys, we play these flag breaks here. We had a nice little solid flag break here. You have your momentum, consolidation momentum. Okay, if you didn't get in on that move, then you have to ask yourself, are you going to get in up here? Do you have any kind of structural formation that tells you to start executing? No, you don't. Okay, do you have anything on the 4-hour that tells you to start executing on the buy side? No, you don't. All right, and why is that? Because again, it's gone. Okay, so at this point, you had 2 trading opportunities. You could have taken the bounce. Okay, the bounce there. You could have taken the flag break there. Okay, and at this point, that's really about it. So the only thing on the table right now is a push back down in. All right, now, can this market race away? Okay, yes, of course. All right, but at the end of the day, if I put this trade in front of you 100 times and you took buys when these kind of situations happen, look, I don't think it'd end up going so well in your favor. All right, I like for the market to be at extremes, and right now this is at an extreme on the other side. So I'm going to just kind of stay around and maybe look for some price action to the sell side. Maybe we'll come back down and sit in the 0940s, which was also where my guy mentioned where he wanted this market to go down into. So good targeting there. So yeah, I definitely want to come and see this market sit down here in the 0940s, and then maybe we can start to get some kind of push back up in, right? So is it worth the 30 pips in terms of waiting? Okay, I mean, ask yourself that, right? So let's say you get in right now, you're getting in the 0977s. Let's say you get in the 0940s, that's a 30 pip spread in terms of entry, okay? If we had 500 pip targets, who cares about a 30 pip spread, right? But you have to ask yourself where your targets are, okay? So if your targets are, let's just say even 100 pip targets, all right? If your targets are 100 pip targets, remember, I have to go back over into the 4-hour to do this. Remember, if your targets are even 100 pip targets, which seem to be big, look, adding 30 more pips of risk onto that trade, it can definitely hurt you. So where would your stops go? Logically, okay, your best area in terms of not being stopped out is the low of structure. The low of structure, serious structure, isn't until the 0840s. All right, so you're dealing with 100 pip stops. So you have to ask yourself, okay, is this thing about to race to the $10s? And if so, then okay, cop yourself a nice solid, 1-to-1 risk reward, more like a 1.2 to 1 risk reward ratio. All right. But if you want something a little bit better, then again, you might want to wait for this thing to pull back in a little bit. All right. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I may also be taking some sells back down into the low of structure there. Okay. I had another guy that was looking at this, Eric. He was looking at this thing for a sell. And again, I think it would definitely be something that could work out fabulously. All right. So let's just wait for that. And we'll start to maybe play around this thing in the 0960s, high 0950s. All right. Moving over to this Aussie. Aussie, this is what I was talking about to you guys. Let's go over into this weekly real quick. And I'm going to take, well, I don't have to take it off. You guys can see here how we, again, this is a serious pin bar here. Market came down, sat right on the 61.8. I thought we were really breaking. I mean, when that intra-week price action was actually panning out, I'm like, holy shit, this thing is melting. Next day, folks, we pop all the way back up into the high 73s. And we sat there. And then we pushed again on Friday, right? So let me show you the daily here. Here's that Friday. Let me zoom in a little bit. Here's that Friday. We pushed one more time, and we made it all the way up into the 74.teens. So at that point, it was serious. It was like, damn, we've made a serious pin bar. This market, yeah, it flooded to the sell side as low as the 73.20s, but we're now sitting back up here in the 74s. That gave me some serious causation that, hey, we might be able to really hold this 61.8. So remember that snippet that I played for you for that Aussie buy-up, definitely. Look, this is being obeyed at the moment. So maybe we can get some. I'm not saying this is a long-term buy, right? We might have some implications on this Aussie to become a little bit weaker. But at the moment, I definitely see that we could potentially push a little bit further up. So it'd be nice for this market to come up into the low of that previous zone. So right up into here in these levels. So at the moment, the reward on that isn't so pretty, but if we can get a slight pullback, and then we'll be dealing with something pretty nice, 1.5s, 2 to 1 risk reward ratios. All right. So again, and not only that, folks, it's not about the risk reward ratio. It's about the probability, right? If it's a probable trade, who gives a F about the risk reward ratio? All right. So don't get so caught up in that idea of, oh man, 20 to 1s. Like, look, that shit doesn't happen like that. It's rare to find those kind of instances. And if you see guys copying those kind of situations, trust me, first of all, it's a stretch, right? I mean, they probably had to trade, they probably got stopped out a million times before one actually worked out, all right? The market, it has to breathe a little bit, and it searches, it exists upon savagely decapitating traders that try to have tight stop losses, okay? It is a carnivore in the sense of ripping apart accounts, these undercapitalized accounts of these traders with these $50 portfolios trying to make $500. The market loves that. It breathes off of it. It salivates off of the idea of just sucking the money out of your portfolio. Okay. On a lighter note, so we're going to be looking at this Euro GBP as well, right? So checking out this Euro GBP, I like it, all right, and I'm going to show you why I like it. And if you like that little rant, comment savage rants in the comment section, and I'll do those every time. That was really kind of fun, actually. So yeah, I'll savagely rant about how we traders the most unintelligent human beings in terms of how to manage their capital. All they're trying to do is just really just make a quick buck, and those are the easiest prey in this marketplace, guys. Those are the guys that are feeding you week in and week out, folks. I promise. All right. So again, look for them. They're very easy to spot on the socials. They just need to be savagely, just taken out of the market, and maybe they'll learn their lesson. So this Euro GBP, we're sitting up here at structure. Okay, this was a trade that I played a while back, probably about 3 weeks ago. Good lord, and we played this breakdown in. All right, here it is. It's still here. So we actually ended up taking a breakout down into structure. All right, so the market gapped open, boom, took the breakout, made a couple of $1,000 on this one actually, and then market kind of ranged around and kind of came back up, needed a breather, came back down, filled the gap officially. Love how the market does that, and we've raced away. Okay, now there's a reason why I'm not sitting here saying overextended, no, I'm scared about this trade and all this kind of stuff. It's just based off the market structure, folks. It looks like it could be a fairly explosive move. Look, I'm not saying it's about to happen, and I'm not saying that a retracement is not deserved, but I will say, hey, if we can pop, we're going to race to the 86s. And it's a probable thing. It's a probable move up into the 86s, okay? And that's what I like about this position. So maybe we can get a little bit of a pullback. Let me go back to to the 4 hour here. Maybe we can get a little pullback. I hate assuming highs, but let's just draw the high up. Let's just assume this high is going to exist in a range around this area. So I'll just draw the high of my fib randomly up in this area here and say, hey, look, maybe we'll get a high somewhere formed in this zone. Okay, so anywhere within this zone, and maybe we can get a pullback back to the next zone, right? So maybe we're going to pull back down into these levels there. So we'll maybe come back into the high 84s. Okay, maybe the 85 flats. Well, we're really right there. It's only 11 pips away, and then maybe we can get a push up. Okay, so just looking out for this Euro GBP. Seems like a pretty cool move in terms of, you know, actually getting some strength in, and it does also seem like pound dollar is putting itself in a situation, you know, when I was looking at some of the economics of it all, it's putting itself in a situation to actually potentially get a little, you know, Euro's looking to get a little bit stronger. Pound, not too much coming out with it fundamentally. Everything's kind of closed out in terms of, you got elections, but the elections are pretty, you know, decently far away. The big moves right now are all consistent upon how this euro performs, and if we get some strong euro move, some strong euro action, we'll definitely pop. So I'm looking out for this Euro GBP. Okay. So other than that, folks, your profit always my motive. All right. Let me know if you need anything. Get inside that rookie course. And definitely, I'll talk to you guys soon. Savage rants, if you want to keep raining savagely. That was kind of fun. All right, talk to you guys soon. Peace.